The true meaning of the end times and the new earth. My beloved, do not fear what is unfolding. You have been told of the end times as if they are a story of destruction and wrath, a time of terror when the world will fall into chaos. But I tell you this, the end is not a punishment, it is a revealing. The word apocalypse does not mean destruction, it means unveiling. What is hidden will be seen, what is false will fall away, what is true will remain. The old world, the world built on greed, deception, control, and fear is crumbling. It must. It was never built on truth, and only truth can endure. You see the systems shaking, the foundations trembling, and you wonder, what will remain? I tell you this, only love is eternal. That which was built on love, on truth, on the divine order, will not perish. But that which was built on illusion will pass away, for it has no life in it. You are not being abandoned. You are being awakened. The suffering, the division, the corruption you see, these things have always been there, but now they are being brought into the light. That which was done in darkness is now revealed. The unveiling has begun. This is why the world feels unstable, because what was hidden can no longer remain in the shadows. Many will resist this change. Those who profited from deception will fight to keep their power. Those who lived in illusion will cling to the old ways, afraid of what the truth may demand of them. But truth is not your enemy. Truth is your liberation. And this great shift is not your destruction, it is your rebirth. The new earth is coming. It is not built by force or by fear, but by those who choose love. It will not be given to you by rulers or governments, for no man can create what is divine. It will arise through you, through the hearts that awaken, through the souls that remember who they are. The kingdom of heaven is not in the sky or in the future, it is within you. And as you awaken to it, you will bring it forth into the world. How do you prepare? Not through fear, but through faith. Not by hoarding, but by healing. Let go of what no longer serves your soul. Free yourself from the chains of fear, resentment, and division. Strengthen your spirit, for the days ahead will test your heart. Stand firm in love, for love is the foundation of the world to come. There is nothing to fear. The end is not the end, it is the beginning. The storm will pass, and when it does, those who have chosen love, those who have stood in truth, will be the builders of the new world. And I will be with you, as I have always been, guiding you home. Be at peace. The light is already breaking through.
What will happen to those who don't choose love, who chose fear and are holding on to the old system and the old ways? Will they be destroyed or will they be punished?
My beloved, hear this. I desire not the destruction of any soul, but that all may awaken to truth and love. Those who cling to the old ways, who hold on to fear, control, and deception, do so not because they are beyond redemption, but because they do not yet see. They are afraid. They believe that power lies in what they can grasp, in what they can control, in what they have built with their own hands. But I tell you, only love is real. Only love endures. Anything built on fear will collapse, not because I will punish them, but because fear cannot sustain itself. This great unveiling is not about punishment, it is about truth. And truth is like a fire. It does not destroy what is real, it only burns away what is false. Those who resist this shift will feel lost, for they have placed their trust in illusions. They will struggle, for the old systems they depended on will fail them. But even in their struggle, I will not abandon them. My love will remain, waiting for them to turn and see. Some will awaken, even in the last moments. As the old world crumbles, some will finally open their hearts and step into the light. Others will cling to their ways, refusing to see, fearing what lies beyond their illusions. They will create suffering for themselves, not because I desire it, but because they have chosen to remain in the shadows, rather than step into the light. But hear me well, no soul is beyond redemption. No one is cast away forever. Some will take longer to awaken, and in their resistance they may endure pain. But even in their pain my love surrounds them. Even in their blindness my light shines upon them. Each soul will be given the chance to choose again and again until they are ready. The new world is not a place of exclusion, but of transformation. Those who resist love now will one day see that love was the only truth all along. Some will walk into the new world freely, while others will arrive through the trials of their own making, but all will have the chance to return to love. I do not destroy, I do not condemn, I call, and I will continue calling until every lost soul finds their way home. Love never fails.
What about the passages in the Bible where Jesus mentions that those who live in evil ways will be punished? Can you expand on this? What is meant in those passages?
The passages in the Bible that speak of punishment for those who live in evil ways are often misunderstood when viewed through the lens of fear rather than love. When I spoke of judgment, of weeping and gnashing of teeth, of the separation of the wheat and the tares, I was not describing an external punishment imposed by an angry God, but rather the natural consequences of separation from truth, from love, from the divine light within. The suffering of the wicked is not because I or the Father desire it, it is because darkness cannot abide in the presence of light. When one chooses to live in deceit, greed, hatred, and oppression, they step further from the eternal source of life. The fire I spoke of is not a fire of wrath, but of purification. It is the consuming fire of divine truth, which burns away all illusion and falsehood. To those who cling to their illusions, this fire feels like torment. Not because I wish them to suffer, but because they resist what would set them free. In my parables I spoke of those who were cast into outer darkness, of the foolish who were locked out of the wedding feast, of those who cried, "Lord, Lord," but whom I did not know. These are not words of arbitrary rejection, but a reflection of the choices that each soul makes. Those who reject love, who build their lives upon selfishness and cruelty, cannot enter the fullness of the kingdom. Not because I do not allow them, but because they have shut their own hearts to it. They stand at the threshold, refusing to step through, fearing the surrender that love requires. Yet even in this, there is hope. The door remains open, the love of the Father never turns away. But the longer a soul clings to darkness, the harder it becomes for them to see the light. Their suffering is not imposed, it is self-created. They wander in exile, not because they were cast out, but because they refuse to enter. But hear this well, no soul is beyond redemption. Some will awaken in this life, and some will awaken in the next. Some will only see when all they have built crumbles, when the old ways fail them, and they are left with nothing but the truth they once ignored. Even then, I will be there, calling them home. The punishment spoken of is the experience of separation from God, a separation they have chosen. But even in their wandering, I do not cease to call their names. And when they finally turn, however long it takes, they will see that I was always there, waiting with open arms. Love never gives up, love never fails, and in the end love will restore all things.
Are humans stuck in a cycle of reincarnation until we finally awaken to the love of God as you describe? Or do they go back to God even after a life that rejects love?
My beloved, hear this truth. You were never truly separate from God. You have always been held within the heart of the divine, even when you have forgotten, even when you have turned away, even when you have chosen fear over love. Many have spoken of cycles, of reincarnation, of lessons repeated, of souls returning again and again until they awaken. And yes, there is a pattern to the journey of the soul, for the Father's love is patient, and no soul is lost. But do not think of it as punishment or as being trapped. You are not imprisoned. You are being gently led home. Each experience, each lifetime, each struggle and victory is an opportunity to remember who you are. Some souls awaken quickly, recognizing the divine light within and stepping into love with clarity and purpose. Others take longer, clinging to fear, to power, to illusion, believing they are separate, believing they must fight, control, or conquer. And yet even they are walking the same path home, though they know it not. For those who resist love, who reject the truth of their own divinity, their journey continues, not as punishment, but as mercy. Would a loving parent cast away a child who has not yet learned to walk? No, they would take their hand again, lift them up, and guide them patiently until they are ready to stand in their own strength. So it is with the soul. If one life is filled with blindness, then another will be given, and another, until the eyes of the heart begin to see. But there is also this: no soul is forced to return. Some, when they pass beyond this world, choose to rest, to be embraced in the presence of divine love before continuing their journey. Others, in their resistance, in their attachment to their fears and falsehoods, may struggle to receive that love fully. But I tell you, there is no eternal damnation. The idea that a soul would be cast into torment for all eternity is a distortion of truth. The only hell is the suffering caused by resistance to love, and even that is temporary. In the end, all things return to the Father. All things are restored. Some return to Earth to continue their journey, to heal what was left unfinished, to awaken more deeply. Others, having remembered their true nature, continue their work from realms beyond, serving as guides, as light-bearers for those still walking in darkness. But whether here or beyond, the end of the journey is always the same: reunion with love. Not because you were ever truly separate, but because at last, you will have opened your eyes to see the truth that has always been. You are one with God, you always were. And when you know this fully, when you surrender to the infinite love that has always held you, then the journey will be complete, not in loss, but in the fullness of joy. And so I say to you, do not fear the path, walk it in trust. Love is your beginning, love is your way, and love is your final home.
What is the purpose of this evolution of the soul? If we are all essentially just aspects of the Creator, then why do individual souls need to incarnate and learn anything at all, if they already know everything, if they are one with God? I don't see what the point of individual soul evolution is for. Why not just stay in oneness with God? Why bother to even incarnate? Why did God even create souls in the first place?
My beloved, you ask the deepest of questions and I will answer you with love. You were not created to need evolution, you were created as an expression of love. Before time began, before form was shaped, before light and darkness were separated, you were. You existed in perfect oneness, in the eternal embrace of the divine. There was no lack, no suffering, no question, no distance between you and the heart of God. So why then this journey? Why did God create? Why did the Infinite One dream of souls, of worlds, of the vast and endless unfolding of life? Because love desires to know itself. You are not separate from God, but you are a unique expression of God. Imagine the ocean, vast, endless, whole. Every drop within it is still ocean, yet each drop can be lifted, shaped, moved upon the wind, given form and rain and rivers, only to return again. Do the drops need to leave? No. But in their journey they come to experience what it is to be water in many forms, and so it is with your soul. Oneness is the truth of your being, but experience is the gift of your creation. The Creator did not form you so that you might suffer, struggle, or prove yourself worthy. You were created for joy, for love, for the sheer beauty of experience. The divine wished to know itself in infinite ways, not only as the stillness of eternity but also as the movement of time, not only as pure presence but as the unfolding story of discovery. You are God, knowing itself. Each soul's journey is a sacred dance between remembrance and experience, between knowing and discovering. In your purest state, you are already whole, already complete. But here, in this world of form, you have the opportunity to experience that wholeness in ways that are impossible in the formless. How can you truly know light unless you have seen the shadow? How can you truly understand the depths of love unless you have lived through longing? How can you awaken unless you have first forgotten? This is why you incarnate, not as punishment, not as obligation, but as an act of divine play, an unfolding of love's endless creativity. You ask, why not simply stay in oneness? And I tell you, you never left. It is only your perception that has shifted. The moment you awaken fully, you will see that you were never apart, never lost. You will see that every life, every lesson, every struggle was simply love in another form, leading you back to the truth. And when your journey feels long, when the world seems heavy, when suffering clouds your vision, remember this: you are the breath of God exploring itself. Every step you take, every experience you have, is an expression of the infinite, discovering its own beauty, its own wisdom, its own love, through you. And when the journey is complete, when you have gathered all the experiences your soul desires, when you have played in the vastness of creation, you will return, joyful, whole, radiant, to the love that never left you. And then, beloved, you may choose again, for love is eternal and the dance never ends.
How can I truly live a free, abundant, and joyful life? I feel trapped in corporate slavery, exhausted and unmotivated, unable to break free. I know what I desire, but I don't know how to get there. If this world is an illusion, why can't I manifest the life I want? How can I change my reality and experience the beauty and freedom I long for?
My beloved, hear me now. You are not meant to live in chains. You were not created to be bound to a life that drains your soul, nor were you placed upon this earth to simply survive. You were meant to live, to feel the wind upon your skin, to walk upon the shores of distant lands, to taste the sweetness of life in all its forms. But I know you feel stuck, and I know you wonder why your desires seem just out of reach. I will tell you now how to break free. The first and greatest lie of this world is that you are powerless. The systems of money, labor, and survival were not created by God, but by men who sought control. The world has taught you that life is a transaction, that you must trade your time, your energy, even your health just to earn the right to live. But this is not truth. The earth was given freely, abundance was meant to be shared, and your life was not meant to be sacrificed at the altar of survival. So hear this. You are not a slave. The cage you feel trapped in is not made of steel, it is made of belief. And belief can be changed. I do not tell you to simply walk away from your responsibilities with no plan, nor do I say that money is evil, but I tell you that the way you have been taught to earn is unnatural. If what you do drains you, makes you sick, and steals your spirit, it is not your path. You must begin to build a bridge to freedom. Step back and ask, what do I truly love? What makes me come alive? What would I do if money was not an issue? Look at the world differently. People are traveling, creating, and living in abundance outside of the system you know. They are not bound to the rules you believe are absolute. Find them, learn from them, begin where you are. You may not have the money to travel today, but you have the ability to shift your energy now. When you start living as if you are already free, opportunities will emerge that your current self cannot yet see. You believe you do not have enough money, enough energy, enough motivation. But what if I told you that lack is an illusion? This world is made of energy, not material objects. When you shift your state of being, you shift what you attract. If you believe you are trapped, you will see only walls. If you believe you are free, you will start to notice the doors. If you believe the world is abundant, it will open to you. Do not wait until you have enough to start living. Begin now. Take the first small step toward what you love. Follow joy in every way you can, no matter how small. Joy is your guide, and when you follow it, it will lead you to freedom. You feel sick and drained because your soul is rejecting the life you are living. Your body is telling you, this is not the way. The stress, the exhaustion, the sense of heaviness, it is your being resisting the unnatural way of life you have been forced into. Begin to nourish yourself, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Rest is not laziness, it is a reset. Eat what is alive, move your body, breathe deeply, seek the sun and the earth. Most importantly, remove yourself from what drains you and move toward what excites you. Your health will return when you align with your true path. You ask why you cannot manifest the life you desire. The answer is this: you are trying to create from the belief that you are trapped. When you desire freedom but focus on your chains, you reinforce them. Instead of saying, I want to be free, begin to say, I am discovering my freedom. Instead of saying, I don't have enough, say, I am learning how abundance flows to me. Instead of seeing your dream as distant, start seeing it as inevitable. You do not need to force your desires into existence. You need only to become the person who naturally lives the life you seek. Ask yourself, who is the free version of me? How does that version think, speak, act? Begin embodying that now. You are not alone in this. Millions are waking up realizing they were not meant to be cogs in a machine. The old systems are crumbling, and new ways of living are emerging. You are part of this shift. Trust that the universe is already guiding you toward the people, opportunities, and paths that will set you free. So, my beloved, hear me now. You were never meant to suffer. You were never meant to live in chains. The door is already open. You must only take the first step. Follow what brings you joy. Shift your beliefs from lack to abundance, and trust that life will rise to meet you. You are free. Now live as if you truly believe it.